Hi, boys and girls, it's me again. We are going to be looking at 15-2, which is solving problems involving line plots. So we're going to be looking at the line plots today and then reading word problems and then answering the word problems using the data. So we are on pages 402 and 403. So let's take a look at number 1. What was the greatest number of cell phone calls made? So when I'm looking at this, it's going to be 39. So the first answer would be 39. The second problem asks us, what is the difference between the greatest and least number of calls? So I'm going to take that 39 and then I'm going to look and see way down here that the least number of calls was 25. So I'm going to take 25 and 39 and I'm going to subtract them to find the difference. And then the answer would be 14. So now let's take a look at problem number 3. So it says, use the data set below, make a line plot of the data. So first things first, I'm going to create a table. So I know I'm going to go across today to make it a little bit easier for us to read what we have. So we have 4, make a little tally, 7 1/2, 9, 9 1/2, 6, 5 1/2, 7, 8, 8 1/2, 8 1/2, 9 1/2, 6 1/2, 8, 6 1/2, 6, 5 1/2, 6 1/2, 6, 8 1/2, 6 1/2. So if I put these all in order and I create a line plot, what I'm going to see is I'll probably start with 4. And if you notice, I have half measurements. So my half measurements on my line will most likely start with 4, 4 1/2, 5, 5 1/2, 6, 6 1/2, 7, 7 1/2, 8, 8 1/2, 9, and 9 1/2. And I'm just going to say 10 and make sure that I get everything that I need to. So now I'm going to go back up here and I'm just going to look. So 4 had 1, 7 1/2 had 1, 9 had 1, 9 1/2 had 2, 6 had 3, 5 1/2 had 2, 7 had 1, 8 had 2, 8 1/2 had 3, and 6 1/2 had 4. Now, a couple of things you could have done. First, you probably could have looked at the numbers and said, okay, I need to put these in number order. And I know that I didn't, and that might help for some of you. Another item that you could be looking at is, if you guys notice that I went through across the top and went all the way over. Sometimes too, and I know I'm telling you guys not to do this, but I would look at 4 and say, okay, I'm going to cross it out. 7 1/2, cross it out. 9, cross it out. And the reason why you want to do this, especially in your workbook, and not necessarily in your textbook, but in your workbook, is because one common mistake is that some people forget a number up here in your chart, and then you end up forgetting it down here on your plot line, okay, your line plot. Okay, so if I were to look at problem number 4, it says, what is the most common shoe size? Well, the most common shoe size is going to be 6.5, because 6.5 has the most number of people who were surveyed who actually have that size. So this would be the most common. Hopefully this is kind of starting to make a little bit sense with you guys today. So let's take a look at for problem 5 and 6. So problems 5 and 6, it says use the line plot below. Problem 5 says, what is the difference between the tallest height and the shortest height? Now, if you guys immediately come here, we're looking in the wrong spot. The tallest height is at 57, and the smallest height is at 54. So we're gonna do a little bit of math, just like we've done in the past. So we have our 57, and then we have our 54 and 1/4. Now remember, I can't do this problem right now as it stands because I'm missing a number, a fraction up here. So we have to borrow, right, to make that 56. And then because we don't have anything here, and we remember when we see that we already have a 4 denominator, so we're gonna take that whole number and use 4/4 to create that whole number that we borrowed from over here. Hopefully you guys remember that from fractions. So now I'm gonna go ahead and subtract. 4 minus 1 is 3. And then so I have 3/4. And then 6 minus 4 is 2. So then this would be my answer. This is the difference between the largest and the smallest. So Oscar says that 55 inches is the most common height. Dr. Chen measured. Do you agree? Well, I would probably disagree. And I want to see what you guys also think about this as too. Because if everybody was measured, the 55.5 is the most common height because it's the one that occurs the most. Hopefully that kind of makes a little bit more sense to some of you guys. Okay, now moving on, let's go to problem 7. Now, don't forget, boys and girls, if you guys are getting stuck with any of these questions, don't hesitate to stop and reverse the video and then go back and look at them again. And don't forget, you can always look on Pearson online and watch the video for this lesson as well. Okay, so now let's kind of take a look at problem number 7. How many, so it says, for 7 through 9, use the line plot on the right. How many students are in Miss Harper's class? Explain how you found your answer. Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna count the X's, because that way I know exactly how many people who were tallied and who were surveyed. So we would count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So there are exactly 21 students in the class. And I'm going to make sure I write that down on my sheet of paper. So now let's take a look at question number 8. How many students have 3 pets? So if we were to look at this, notice this is how many, these are the students who have 3 pets, and we'd count how many there were. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 students with 3 pets. And then it says, how many pets in all is that? Well, if we have 4 students and they each have 3 pets, I'm pretty certain that we should be doing 3 times 4, which would equal 12 pets in all. All right, boys and girls. So hopefully you guys are kind of starting to get the gist of what we're going to be working on today. It's basically looking at the data and then reading very carefully. If you guys have noticed, we have to be very careful about looking at exactly what the question is asking us. So if you have any other questions today, don't hesitate to watch the other video that Pearson has provided you, or you can feel free to Zoom with me and I'll be happy to help you. Good luck, boys and girls.